I'm James McCann. I front JJ McCann Transmission. Um, just released an album called Hit with Love on Cheer Squad Records, produced by Rob Younger. The band at the moment features Rick Student on bass. Rick is formerly he plays in X occasionally, and his own band Migraines. Kay Patterson on keys, who has a background in playing in Melbourne for decades with people like Conway Savage and Spencer P. Jones. And drummer is Scotty Bennett, who plays with Mick Daly, I believe. So we've been doing a few shows over the last few months to promote the record, and here we are.
Beautiful, mate. Here we are indeed. Thanks for joining us again.
Thank you.
No worries. So as you said, brother, you recently released the album Hit with Love under the moniker JJ McCann Transmission back in March. So March, April, May, June. So it's been 3 months now. How's the reception been?
Oh, it actually was officially released, I think, last year. We did the launch. We did the launch in December down here. So it was kind of a staggered kind of thing, and there was followed by a couple of film clips as well. So I think the last film clip was March for Amphibious Skin, the song Amphibious Skin. It's been going well. It's been released here in Melbourne on Cheer Squad Records and co-released with French label Beast Records in Rennes in France. And I've worked with those guys for 15 years, that label. It's the first record I've released in Australia in 14 years. Everything else I've released either in Spain or France. Generally because there wasn't a lot of independent labels around 15 years ago, believe it or not. It's picked up a bit since then in Australia, that is.
And the Spanish and the French people are a lot more polite than Australians too. Like if you release a shit album over there, they're just going to buy you coffee or something. Over here, they'll tell you about it.
Oh, look. Well, I don't know about that.
Huh?
I don't know about that. They'll let you know what they think. Yeah, pretty quickly. Yeah.
And what's your audience like over there? Like, is it pretty good?
Oh, it's great. Look, I've been going there since 2008. My first tour was solo over there. That was started up in France all the way down through Spain to like the middle of kind of Spain and Tarragona around there. It's great. Look, I found it liberating, I felt like I was beating my head against a brick wall in Melbourne for a while. So to get something out over there and to get the opportunity to travel and play to people and it to be, the records to be distributed over there and people know the music and that was back in the CD days too, when the CDs were sort of more popular and, you'd sell, your backpack full of CDs. You'd take a backpack with you full of CDs and you'd sell them all. It's great. It was the most money I've ever had in my life, I think, that solo tour. My wallet was bursting at the seams. And people kept asking me, what do you do in Australia for a job? You got so much money, because I was paying for lunch and stuff. And I went, nothing.
This is it.
This is it. And then I go back and I'm broke again.
So just say someone's listening to this, mate, and it's their first introduction to you or your music. Like, give us 3 songs from the album that they should listen to get to know you a bit better.
Okay, well, I would go New Machine. That's got a bit of a post-punk feel. And I would go Amphibious Skin. That's got a bit of an 80s, almost Australian underground indie feel. And I would go, say, Forces at Work, because that has more of a kind of melodic and keys side to it, more sort of a little faster. And I'll go those 3, I think. Or maybe Marshalling Yard. That song's quite twisted in the way it's set out. It's almost metal in a way. the chord structuring and all that. Yeah. So that's 4.
Yeah, no, I've just snuck an extra one in there, mate, but we'll let you have it.
Yeah.
Now, that might be your first under the band name JJ McCann Transmission, but your journey thus far is much broader than that, mate. So I know you've done a lot, but give us a brief run through your history and what has led you to this point.
Oh, look. Okay. Well, I started up in WA and then in the 80s as a teenager, and then moved to Sydney and started playing in that scene in the early mid 90s in my band Harpoon. And then at that period, I was involved in Nunchukka Superfly that recorded the album that's just come out. Yeah, so I was in that scene for quite some time till the late 90s. Then I was back to Perth for family reasons for a couple of years. And I thought I was going to give up music then. That was in my late 20s, and I ended up in like 3 bands. I was in the Drones, the first lineup of the Drones, and a band called Gutterville Splendor 6, and my own one called James McCann's Germs.
I love it.
Then, yeah, we called it that because no one would come and see us, because we were like, it was so it's like James McCann's Germs, you know. No one's coming to see us because we had a French horn player and a conga player and me on guitar.
That would have been different.
It was pretty wild actually. Yeah, so ended up, with the Drones, we all moved back to Sydney, but that didn't work out. I stayed on there for a bit, started working on new stuff, and it became my first 2 solo albums. And I moved down to Melbourne to finish them, actually, because I was always coming down here on the train, and people got sick of me and said, sleeping on their couches. They were like, just move here. So I moved here 20 years ago and finished the records, and they came out on Torn and Frayed, that record label. My first couple of solo records, and they did pretty good. Yeah, there were CDs and vinyl overseas. Bang Records in Spain put out one of my records on vinyl. Then was my involvement with Beast Records after that. But yeah, several lineups. I had a couple of different bands I was kicking around with around Melbourne, but now it's I'm back to 3 bands again. After all these years, I'm busier than I've been in bloody 20 odd years. Playing with Mola, who are a 90s band, Melbourne 90s band, fronted by Helen Kadenak, bass player for Spencer P. Jones for about 20 years. And I'm back in Nunchukka Superfly after nearly 30 years, and also JJ McCann Transmission. So that's where we're at right now.
Beautiful. Now, Hit with Love was produced by legendary radio Birdman frontman Rob Younger. So what did he bring to the overall sound? Like, is it his experience that you like? Is it his opinion? Like, what's so special about having him involved?
Yeah, well, look, his experience, well, also his love of music and his appreciation of good records. And, I got talking to him about different albums and his knowledge about, singles that came out in the 60s or 70s, albums in the 70s and stuff, and just an appreciation of his voice and his music. I've always loved his voice since I was a teenager, and I always wanted to work with him. And yeah, but he comes with a lot of knowledge and a lot of experience, but he blends right in with the band. So he's on the roller coaster with you. He's kind of guiding you and helping you where he can and offering suggestions, but he's not pushy at all ever. And he's always like, if you don't mind, you try this out. And it's not like you're going to go, no, Rob Younger, I will not try that out. Yeah, no. So yeah, he came up with some great vocal ideas for me and arrangement ideas. There's one song on the album called Judas Jenny, which if you're familiar with Rob Younger's vocal delivery, you'll hear it on that, because he guided me through that to sing a certain way. And it was great. I was loving it. I was in heaven, you know. And yeah, so and some arrangements he helped with too. So yeah, and the mixing process at the end, he was really involved in that, which was invaluable. You know, he leaves no stone unturned. You know, he wants it to be as perfect as possible.
Bless his cotton socks.
Oh yeah, he's unreal. Yeah, and he's a lot of fun too.
Yeah.
You know.
Some of the stories you'd get in body they're putting it together, it'd be priceless.
Oh yeah, look, it was after recording sessions, we'd studio for 4 days. We'd get back to my place about 11 p.m. And then before we knew it, was like 3 a.m. You know, we're like, shit, we've got to go to bed. Get back up. We'd just be sitting up listening to music and watching music docos. And, you know, it was fun, a lot of fun to hang out with, you know.
Yeah, cool. And there's also a track on the album written with the late Spencer P. Jones, mate. So tell us a bit more
Yep.
about the song. It must be pretty special for you.
Yeah, well, look, that's an interesting one because it was finished after he died, in the sense that me and him messed around with the idea for that song a couple of times, and luckily I had a dictaphone, and I recorded a few things that we did together. Luckily, and I found it and went, God, we never got around to finishing that. We just kind of let it go. So yeah, I finished it, and so it's his idea, his chorus, and I just put the verses to it, and that was it. Yeah. So just sent it to APRA as like 50-50, Spencer and me, his chorus, my verse. So yeah, it was pretty cool because he was a close friend, and he used to come round to my house here where I am right now a lot, you know, and hang out over the years. And yeah, so it's quite special to find that and go, oh, cool. Yeah.
Would have been.
Mm.
So what do you've got any more shows coming up in the near future?
Yeah, look, there's one show, Transmission, coming up with the Kill Devil Hills in 2 weeks. So that's a Brunswick Ballroom. That's Saturday, not this Saturday, next Saturday. Oh God, the dates just slipped me. So yes, that's going to be our only show for quite a while, actually. Then finishing off a new album with Mola. So we're rehearsing that at the moment. Then I'm off on tour with Nunchukka.
Gonna be good, mate. You got a bit happening,
Yeah.
brother?
Yeah. It's been looming for a while, and it's like, here we go, like trying to be healthy and do everything right. Make sure it all goes well.
Shit, right. All right, JJ. Well, thanks very much for your time, mate. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks, Kris.
With Love is out now. Got the show coming up in a couple of weeks. Nunchukka Superfly tour is going on, so you get a massive fix of JJ everywhere you look.
Yeah, it's my time to shine.